The treasure hunt. Jim Hawkins is on a ship named the Hispaniola with a group of pirates, Captain Long John Silver and his crew. Jim has a treasure map. They are all going to Treasure Island to look for the treasure. At first, Jim really enjoys himself even though he has to work hard on the ship. But one night, Jim hears the captain tell a young sailor that he plans to find the treasure and keep the gold for himself. On reaching Treasure Island, Silver, his crew, and Jim head towards Skeleton Island, where the treasure is buried according to the map. Read on to find out what happens on Skeleton Island. While I waited for breakfast to be served, Captain Long John Silver came over and sat down beside me. "Now, Jim," he said, "we should hunt for this treasure. You and I must stick together and we'll save each other if needed." Before starting off on the treasure hunt, Silver gathered his men together. "Aye, mates, pay attention," he said. "It's lucky you have me as your captain. Once we find the treasure, we'll have to come back to the ship quickly. Once we have both the ship and the treasure and are on the sea again, we'll be safe. We'll take Jim with us and give him his share for all his kindness." The pirates were very cheerful about looking for the treasure, but I was worried. I knew that Silver would not keep his word, and this thought troubled me. We set out on the treasure hunt. We were a strange sight, everyone in dirty clothes and everybody except me carrying weapons. Silver's parrot sat on his shoulder. Some men carried tools for digging, while others carried meat, bread, and water. Thus we marched one after another to the beach. A tall tree was the chief marker. Right before us was a bit of flat ground 200 or 300 feet high. The top was full of tall pine trees. After a long march, we began climbing towards the trees. Suddenly, one of the men cried out, and the others ran to him. At the foot of a large tree lay a sailor's skeleton. We saw that the skeleton lay straight, just like a pointer, its arms raised above its head. "Look," said Silver. "The bones point towards that part of Skeleton Island." They quickly climbed up towards the pine trees. Soon they reached the top. As soon as they reached the high ground, Silver and his men sat down to rest. As he sat, Silver looked at his compass and said, "There are 3 tall trees in a straight line from Skeleton Island. It'll be easy to find the treasure now." Our way lay downhill. We could see the pines ahead of us. The first 2 tall trees were the wrong ones according to Silver's compass, but the third tree rose nearly 200 feet into the sky. The men knew that the gold lay buried under its shadow. Almost instantly, they started moving faster. Silver hobbled up, his hands shaking. He hoped to dig up the treasure, find the Hispaniola, kill his crew, and sail away with the riches. Afraid of this, I could hardly keep up with the treasure hunters. Soon, those in front started running. Suddenly, they stopped. A low cry arose. Silver and I rushed forward. Before us was a very large pit. Someone had dug it up a long time ago. The sides had fallen in and grass covered the bottom. The hidden treasure has been removed. All 700,000 pounds of gold were gone. Do the pirates ever find the treasure? Does Jim get his share of the gold? Read Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson to find out. The story The Treasure Hunt is adapted from the all-time classic The Treasure Island, written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson, who lived between 1850 and 1894, was a Scottish writer. He contributed many classic stories to the literature world. Some of his well-known works are Treasure Island, Kidnapped, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and A Child's Garden of Verses, which contains a good collection of beautiful poems for kids. And it simply expresses matters that concerns childhood, illness, play, worries, and solitude. Some of the poems are Bed in Summer, My Shadow, The Swing, etc. Now meet the characters. Jim Hawkins, the small boy who happened to be in the gang just because he has the map with him which shows the way to the treasure. Captain Long John Silver, who is a wicked person and leads the team. Then there are other people as his crew or team members. They set a voyage towards the treasure island for treasure hunt in a ship called Hispaniola. Now they are out for their trip and reached the beach of the skeleton island. Let's see what happens.
Jim Hawkins is on a ship, Hispaniola, with Captain Silver and his group of pirates. Jim has a treasure map. They are all going to look for the treasure. One night, Jim hears the captain's plan to find the treasure and keep the gold for himself. On reaching Treasure Island, Silver, his crew and Jim set off for Skeleton Island, where the treasure is buried according to the map. While I waited for breakfast, Captain Long John Silver came over and said,
"Now, Jim, you and I must stick together and save each other if needed."
Then Silver spoke to his men.
"Hey mates, once we find the treasure, we will have to find the ship quickly. Once we are on the sea again, we will be safe. We will give Jim his share for all his kindness."
The pirates were very cheerful, but I was troubled by the thought that Silver would not keep his word. We set out on the treasure hunt, everybody except me carrying weapons. Some men carried tools for digging, while others carried food and water. After a long march, we found a sailor's skeleton lying at the foot of a large tree.
"Look," said Silver. "The bones point towards that part of Skeleton Island."
They quickly climbed up towards the pine trees. Soon, they reached the top. Silver looked at his compass and said,
"There are 3 tall trees in a straight line from Skeleton Island. It will be easy to find the treasure now."
Our way lay downhill. The first 2 tall trees were the wrong ones according to Silver's compass, but the third rose nearly 200 feet into the sky. The men knew that the gold lay buried under its shadow. They started moving faster. Silver hobbled up, hoping to dig up the treasure, find the Hispaniola, kill his crew, and sail away with the riches. Soon, those in front started running. Suddenly, they stopped. Silver and I rushed forward. Before us was a very large pit. Someone had dug it up a long time ago. The sides had fallen in and grass covered the bottom. The hidden treasure had been removed. all 700,000 pounds of gold were gone.